On Wednesdays, we wear pink. But on Thursdays, we talk about musicals. Hey you guys, what's up? It's me, Catherine, and today I am bringing you an extra fetch episode of Theater Thursday. As you may or may not know, Mean Girls the musical has been in the works for quite some time now. Normally I'd be really nervous about a musical adaptation of Mean Girls, but Tina Fey is writing the book, and her husband is composing the music. P.S. He composed a lot of the music on 30 Rock. So I'm really pumped. I think it's gonna be fantastic. There's finally been an update. Auditions were a couple months ago. So before any of the casting information comes out, I thought it'd be fun to cast it. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. My name's Katherine Steele. If you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe. That way you get notified for all future videos and you get to join the Theater Thursday fam. First, we take over Broadway and then the world. Yep, I do that on every video. If that hasn't scared you away, you can follow me at Kath_Steele on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. So without any further ado, here is my dream cast for Mean Girls the Musical. Now for this video, we're going to break the rules just a little bit. In an interview a while back, Tina did say that she really wanted to cast kids who were fresh out of college, really young performers, which I think is great. I'm not a huge fan of casting 35-year-olds to play high schoolers. However, since the goal is to go with a bunch of unknown actors, we don't know them, so we can't cast them in this video. So I'm going to cast young but known Broadway actors, and of course, I want you guys to play along with me. Leave your casting ideas in the comments down below. I read every single comment. I respond to as many as I can. We've built like a pretty solid, super fun little community here, so it's always a ton of fun. We all read each other's ideas. It's a good time. So let's cast this. Bonus points if you manage to not reuse the entire cast of Heathers. But I do love all of them, so. Let's start off with everybody's favorite dummy, Karen Smith. It's like I have ESPN or something. I think that Stephanie Styles would make a fantastic Karen. She's a former Catherine from Newsies, she's a Michigan alumni, and she's also going to be heading up the newly announced production of Roman Holiday. What? With Drew Gailing. I'd really love to see what she'd do with this. And none for Gretchen Wieners. Bye! Gretchen Wieners is the second in command of the Plastics. I think that Ava Noblezada would totally kill it as Gretchen Wieners. Ava is currently killing it on Broadway as Kim in Miss Saigon, a role that she also played in the West End production, along with playing Eponine Thénardier in Les Mis. Also, she's like crazy young and crazy talented. Regina George was the role that I definitely had the most problems casting. Regina's a really complex role. She has to have an insane amount of confidence and leadership while still being performed by, you know, a really young actor. Also, we don't know much about the music and the storyline thus far, but Tina has said that Regina's going to have some more vulnerable moments in the show, so that really requires a dynamic actress. So, after much research and diligent thinking, I finally came to the conclusion that I think Regina George should be played by Melissa Benoist. I'm personally a really big fan of metacasting, and I think that if we're going to have one really recognizable person in the cast of Mean Girls, it should be Regina George. Regina George is a really high status character, people know her, so throw in some metacasting, the audience should know her too. Melissa currently plays Supergirl on the CW show, featuring Jeremy Jordan and Laura Benanti. There's some great videos of her doing a lot of work with Kerrigan and Loudermilk. Highly 10 out of 10 recommend those if you haven't seen it or heard her voice, because she's a really fantastic musical theater vocalist, and I think she'd make a really excellent Regina. Danny DeVito, I love your work! Damian is actually maybe my favorite character in Mean Girls. I love Damian. Casting Damian was, again, a really difficult task. I knew that I wanted someone who physically looked like a Damian, who could sing his butt off, but also had insane comedic chops. And also had like a bit of sweetness to him, because I think that Damian is a really good friend through it all. And I wanted someone who could really capture all of that. And my top choice is Connor Pearson. He's currently playing Elder Cunningham on the Book of Mormon national tour. He's adorable and an insanely talented artist. What? Check out his Instagram. It's insane. He's so multi-talented. Janis Ian. So when I was putting together this list, I had 3 immediate favorites for Janis, and all 3 of them would be totally fantastic. It just depends on which direction they choose to take the show. I gotta say it, Barrett Wilbert Weed. You guys might know her as Veronica Sawyer from Heathers off-Broadway. She was also in Bear off-Broadway. Krista Rodriguez. I love Krista Rodriguez so much. She's fantastic. You guys know her from many a thing. She originated Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family. She played Ilsa in the recent Spring Awakening revival. I think that Krista would have been the perfect Janis had this musical been produced like 5 years ago, simply because Krista is, you know, like a full-fledged grown-up now. It depends on who else they cast as the plastics, but Krista might look too adulty and put together to play, you know, a 16-year-old. Which brings me to another great option, Katherine Gallagher. She's super artsy and cool. She has a great fashion sense. Her eyebrows are perfect. She's super funny and edgy and kind of a little offbeat, and I love that for Janis. Let's move on to Erin Samuels. Remember that part where I said I wasn't going to recast just the cast of Heathers? I lied. Because how good would Ryan McCartan be as Erin Samuels? Oh my gosh. You guys might recognize him as JD from Heathers. He's also a Disney Channel kiddo. I also think that if we're going to cast like a more well-known movie star or TV person who can sing, I think that Erin is probably another good place to put him. And now for our star, Katie Heron. I think that casting Katie is going to be one of the most difficult decisions for the team to make. Katie effectively carries the whole show. We see everything through her eyes, and the audience needs to be her, they need to sympathize with her, they need to get her. So I think I found the perfect option for Katie Heron. Let's get Laura Dreyfus up in here. Oh my gosh. You guys might recognize her as Zoe Murphy in the smash hit of the year, Dear Evan Hansen. You also might recognize her as Madison from Glee. Laura is massively talented. She looks young, she sounds young, but still has the maturity I think that it takes to really lead a Broadway show. Bonus characters! So here's the dealio. In the casting breakdown for Mean Girls the Musical, it looks like they're only casting one adult female to play all of the adult female roles, but I already had so many choices for the adult females in the show, so I'm gonna do it anyway. All the rules. Miss Norbury, aka Tina Fey. I would love to see Kate Weatherhead as Miss Norbury. Kate Weatherhead is a Broadway vet. She's from the original cast of Legally Blonde, and she's also the co-creator and star of Submissions Only, my all-time favorite OG musical theater web series. So good. If you guys haven't watched Submissions Only, go watch Submissions Only. She and Andrew Keenan Bolger from Newsies started it, and it guest stars basically every single one of your Broadway crushes. My other choice for Miss Norbury, which like, I giggle about this, and even before they even announced Mean Girls the Musical happening, I still like made a joke about it because how good would this be? What if Miss Norbury was played by Susan Blackwell? I love Susan Blackwell. She's from Title of Show. She's also a Broadway broadcaster. She's a great interviewer for Broadway.com. I love Side by Side by Susan Blackwell. Actually one of the inspirations on why I even started doing YouTube in the first place. And finally, Mrs. George. So Mrs. George doesn't even have a huge role in the movie, but she's kind of one of those standout people, and I think that this actress could totally steal the show. And you know who would kill it, like big time? Carrie Butler. Oh my gosh. Carrie is hysterical. She was in Bat Boy, Catch Me If You Can, Xanadu, Disaster, Little Shop of Horrors. I'm a big Carrie Butler fan. Another amazing blonde comedian. What about Laura Bell Bundy? Oh my gosh. Laura Bell Bundy is most recognizable for originating the role of Little Miss She's also got a very lengthy Broadway and television resume. Talented lady. She would be great. So there you guys go. That is my dream cast for Mean Girls the Musical. Leave your cast list in the comments down below. I want to check all of them out. If you guys liked this video, thought it was fun, or you want me to cast more musicals in the future, give this video a big thumbs up. If you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe. Like I said, I put out a new theater-related video on every Theater Thursday. I love you guys so much. Break a leg, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! I just had a full-on dance party in my room.